Hi guys, this is Ritu Tamret and you are watching my channel Social Studies with Ritu. So today we are going to start. Of course, after a long time I have appeared before you because of some reasons, and today we are going to start our chapter, what is atmosphere. So the atmosphere is made up of mixture of gases that form a layer surrounding the earth. So this is very simple. No need to make you understand that our atmosphere is made up of different types of gases, and these gases are there, of course, in the form of a mixture, but there are different layers uh, upon the surface of the earth, and in these different layers the concentration of air is there present. The atmosphere is held in in place by gravitational force. Of course, there is a gravitational force on our earth. So and this is due to the gravitational force that everything is stuck to this planet. Even we are also stuck to this planet due to the gravitational force. It forms the vital gaseous realm of the earth, though the atmosphere extends beyond 1500 kilometers above the earth's surface. 99% of its mass lies within a height of 32 km from the ground. So this is quite clear that atmosphere, the extent to which atmosphere goes is beyond 1500 kilometer, but 99% of its mass, that means the 99% of the mass of the atmosphere lies within only 32 kilometers from the ground. That means, however, the extension of atmosphere goes beyond 1500 kilometers, but 99% of the atmosphere, that means the 99% of the part of the atmosphere lies only within 32 kilometers from the ground. So this is because the density of the atmosphere is greater in lower layers, as upper layers rest on them, compress them into a dense mass. So what is the meaning of this? So density means we know that concentration of something, how much concentrated something is. So due to the density of atmosphere, that is the density of the air, or the concentration of air which is present in our atmosphere is greater in the lower layers in comparison to the upper layers. So that's why this is the reason that 99% of its mass lies within the height of only 32 kilometers. So composition of the atmosphere. So this is very simple, that we know that nitrogen is the abundant gas in the atmosphere. 78% of total volume is nitrogen itself, and the air which we inhales, that is oxygen, that is only 21% in the atmosphere. The remaining 1% consists of different types of gases: carbon dioxide, hydrogen, helium, ozone, argon, and others. In its lower layers contains varying amounts of water vapors also in its lower layers. That means there are different layers which we are going to read in our next page. In its lower layers, atmosphere contains, or there are different types of gases, and apart from these gases there are water vapor, solid particles, dust, salt, pollen. These things are there in the lower layers of the atmosphere. So these parts are so clear, so I am not going to make these parts much more clear. So this is very clear itself, you can read them yourself. The difference is structure of the atmosphere. Now what is the structure of the atmosphere? The differences in composition, temperature, density, and other properties help us to identify 5 distinct layers of the atmosphere. Now it is clear from these lines itself that atmosphere is made up of different distinct layers. Now what are the basis upon which we could differentiate these layers from one another? So there must be some properties upon which, like, we can differentiate these layers from one another, because there are 5 layers of atmosphere. So it's quite obvious that there must be some properties which make them distinct from each other, though there is no clear boundary separating one layer from the other. Each layer is uniquely identified. Okay, so the layers are not one cannot differentiate the layers from one another so clearly, but Yeah, of course, all the layers have got their distinct kind of properties or distinct kind of qualities in them. That is something which make them different from each other. So the layers vary in thickness, of course, and are found at different heights. Okay, I mean the thickness of the layers differ, or the heights at which they are situated. These heights are also different, and upon the basis of these things, of course, we can differentiate the one layer from the other. So we are going to see this picture, of course, in the next page. So first layer is troposphere. Okay, so let me first show you the page. uh, okay, see, this one is the uh, picture. See, first is troposphere, second is stratosphere, mesosphere, and then ionosphere, and then exosphere. Okay, so these are the 5 layers. So let's go to the next to our first page, because there troposphere is there itself. So this is the first page, troposphere. This is the lowest layer of atmosphere, troposphere. Thickness is 14 kilometer above. Actually, yeah, this you have to understand. What is the thickness? Thickness is if you measure the thickness from equator, then it is 8 kilometer. But if you measure the thickness from the uh, sorry, from the equator side, if you measure the thickness, then it is 14 kilometer. But if you measure the thickness from the poles, then this is only 8 kilometer. So again, let me go to the picture so that it could make more clear picture in your mind. So let me make it more clear. So see here, this is the picture of troposphere. So see here, these are poles. So here the height is only 8 kilometer, but as far as equator is concerned, the height is here 14 kilometers. So this height is, sorry, excuse me, so this height is greater. Okay, and this height on the poles are, of course, this side and this side. So the height is lesser than the height on the equator. So this is earth, and this is the first layer, troposphere, and here our mountains are there. That means our the first layer of atmosphere in which we are surviving. Of course, you know, air is there, nitrogen, oxygen, everything is there. And the concentration, I mean to say, the concentration of these gases are there in this layer in which we are now residing, or in which we are now living. So I will go to the first page. So this is the so troposphere is the densest layer. So a short while back I told you that the concentration of air in this layer is the highest. That means the amount, if you talk about the amount of the air, then the amount of all these air which are present in our atmosphere, of course, in all the layers of the atmosphere, then the amount of all these gases or air, gases, of course, the amount of all these gases are the amount of all these gases is the highest in this layer. This layer contains the air we breathe. Of course, this also I told you. It has short all dust particles, water vapors, weather condition, rain, snow, fog, storm, everything which happen in our day-to-day life. We, of course, have seen all these things. What is fog? What is, what are these rains, clouds, and all these things? Whatever we see, all these things happen in the first layer of the atmosphere, which is none other than troposphere. Okay, so both temperature and pressure of air decrease as density of air gradually decreases away from the earth's surface at higher levels of troposphere. So what happens? Both temperature and pressure of air decrease now as density of air gradually decrease. Now what happens as we go above, like as far as troposphere is concerned, I have already told you that the concentration of gases is the highest, the amount of gases is the highest. But as we go above this layer of the atmosphere, then what happens, the air, the density of air or the concentration of air gradually starts decreasing, and that's why both temperature and pressure also decrease because of this reason. Since density of air or the amount of gases start decreasing as we go above the earth's surface, then temperature and pressure of air also decrease with this. This layer of atmosphere as a blanket protecting the earth from the extreme heat during the day. Of course, this layer of the earth acts as a blanket which covers the surface of earth, and it protects us from the terrestrial heat. What is terrestrial heat? Terrestrial heat is the heat which earth receives from the solar energy or from the sun at the daytime. So, the upper limit of troposphere is marked by the tropopause, where temperature stops decreasing with height. So, okay, this is true that as we go above in this layer of earth, as we go above in this layer of atmosphere, the temperature temperature and pressure both start decreasing. Okay, due to why these two factors start decreasing, due to what is the reason behind this? Because the density of air start decreasing. Okay, but there is a place which is tropopause. Tropopause is the last limit of troposphere. This area is called tropopause. Why this is tropopause? Pause means stop. Why this area is called, I will show you in the picture also. Why this area is called tropopause? Because here at this on this area, tropopause finishes. Tropopause stops completely. That is why this is the last upper limit of troposphere, where this layer which is called troposphere is going to end. That is why this area or this last upper limit of troposphere is called tropopause. Okay, so from this tropopause, now the temperature stops decreasing with height. Earlier what was happening? Temperature was decreasing with height. As we were going above, or we go above, temperature was decreasing, but from tropopause temperature stops decreasing with height. Okay, so let me show you. See, this area, this is troposphere, this area, let me so this area, this last upper limit of troposphere, here this area is called tropopause. Okay, now from this area temperature does not decrease. Yeah, up to here, see, up to here, from here to here, from here, as we start going above, temperature and pressure both start decreasing as we go above. Not here, this is wrong. As we go, start from here and we go up to here, of course, up to here. Okay, this is going because of, automatically it goes, but I just want to tell you up to here, up to here, up to here. As we go from the height of the from the surface of the earth, then temperature and pressure both decrease. But after this, see, from here, if we go above, then temperature does not decrease anymore. Okay, temperature does not decrease, rather temperature starts increasing. See, here also it is written temperature increases with height 0 degrees Celsius. So let me tell you in some more detail. Let me go to that page. Yeah, so this was the last. Okay, so stratosphere. Now the second layer is stratosphere. see, the second layer is stratosphere, so about which we are going to read now here. Now this is the stratosphere. So what is the stratosphere? Above troposphere lies stratosphere extending from tropopause till 50 kilometer from the earth's surface. So what is tropopause? I have already told you. So this area is tropopause, this area is tropopause. Now if we talk about stratosphere, that means stratosphere starts where tropopause, stratosphere starts from tropopause. I mean troposphere stops and then tropopause and then stratosphere starts from here. And this is 50 kilometer from the earth's surface. This layer, now this layer is ideal for flying condition. Okay, water vapor makes this. This is because of the absence of water vapor, because in this area there is no water vapor. Okay, so there is no disturbances from weather side, and that makes it quite familiar for the aircrafts and all. That makes it suitable for aircrafts to run over there. Now within stratosphere lies a layer called concentration of the ozone. Now ozone gas is present in the stratosphere, that is why this stratosphere is also called ozonosphere. Now what is ozonosphere? Ozone is a gas which is quite vital for our survival on the earth. Why? Because ozone is a gas which protects us from the ultraviolet radiations from the sun. This causes the temperature of this layer to increase, and that is why, since in this layer ozone is present, and ozone continuously absorbs ultraviolet rays from the sun, and thus protecting ourselves from these dangerous these dangerous rays, of course. And in this way ozone itself becomes so heated, so hot. So that is why this layer is the temperature of this layer is very high. So up to here we knew that temperature decreases up to troposphere, but after that means after tropopause, up to here troposphere is there, but after this, I mean after this is tropopause, okay, and this is stratosphere. See, this is stratosphere. So up to here temperature decreases up to, if we come from the surface of the earth up to here, then temperature decreases, but from here temperature starts increasing. Why? Because of the ozone, because of the gas present ozone in this layer. And why? Because ozone gas all the time absorbs ultraviolet rays from the sun, and thus making this layer extremely heated, thus increasing the temperature of this layer. Now however, excessive use of harmful chlorofluorocarbon is gradually depleting the ozone layer, leading to health hazards. And we know that ozone layer is getting thinner and thinner with each passing years, and that is quite detrimental to our health, because of course I have told you that ozone layer is protecting us from the ultraviolet rays coming from sun. So if ozone itself gets destroyed, then how it could save us against this ultraviolet rays? So it's quite natural. So how it is getting destroyed? It is getting destroyed due to this CFC gases, which is also called chlorofluorocarbon. So the upper limit of this layer is stratopause once again. So here the way it is tropopause, in the same way here it is stratopause, because up to this layer stratosphere is going to end. Okay, so up to here is stratosphere, and up to this limit stratosphere is going to end, and that is why this area is called stratopause. Now mesosphere. So mesosphere, resulting above a stratosphere lying at the height of 50 kilometer to 80 kilometer from this is mesosphere. So I am not reading them so clearly because this is very easy, you could read yourself. This is mesosphere and it starts from 50 kilometers and it lies from 50 kilometers to 80 kilometers. So this area is called mesosphere. Okay, and of course, you know, telling you beforehand that this area is called mesopause because up to here mesosphere is going to end. If we come to this area or up to this uppermost limit of mesosphere, then up to here mesosphere is going to end, and that's why this portion or this layer is called, or this upper limit, not layer, this upper limit of mesosphere is called mesopause. So now let's go to the next page. So this is the coldest atmospheric layer. The temperature is minus 90 degrees Celsius and this temperature decreases with height throughout this layer. Now up to troposphere, once again let me remind you that up to troposphere temperature decreases, and then after troposphere stops stratosphere comes, and in the stratosphere again the temperature starts increasing. Why? Because of the ozone gas which is continuously absorbing the ultraviolet rays from earth and thus making or thus increasing the temperature of this layer. Okay, and after stratosphere what is the next layer? This is mesosphere. Now again mesosphere temperature is decreasing. Okay, so the temperature is the coldest. What is the temperature? Minus 90 degrees Celsius in some parts. In some parts, of course, the temperature decreases with height throughout this air. Okay, the temperature decreases as we go above in this layer. This layer is of vital importance as meteors slow down, burn up due to the frictional heat when they enter the mesosphere. That means whenever any meteors is pulled towards the earth due to its gravitational force, of course, then it does not directly, it cannot fall down on the earth because it cannot directly fall down because of this mesosphere. Because why? Because due to the friction. Of course, if any celestial body is coming into the atmosphere of our earth, then it will have to penetrate all the layers of the atmosphere, of course, because earth is surrounded by the layers of atmosphere, and if any celestial body, however small it is or however large it is, it will have to penetrate through the layers of the earth in order to reach the earth's surface. And due to this process, when the celestial body penetrates through the uh, layers, of course, then there is a layer called mesosphere. When that celestial body comes to this layer, of course, which is mesosphere, then in this area or in this layer of atmosphere, that celestial body faces friction. Okay, that celestial body uh, has to is compelled to face a kind of scientific process, of course, which is friction, and due to this friction that breaks apart or that burst out into pieces. All right, so of course I'm not going much in detail because these are very I mean very ordinary things, very simple things. So only the vital parts I would like to tell you or would like to make you understand. Mesopause marks the boundary. Of course, made up about mesopause I have already told you. Now next layer is ionosphere. It is also called thermosphere. This layer extends to a height of 450 km from the earth's surface. Now the temperature increases with height as this layer various types of solar radiations. Now once again in this layer temperature increases. So sometimes it is decreasing, sometimes it is increasing. So you'll have to remember, you'll have to set this thing in your mind all the time that for the point of view, from the point of view of your examination also, in which layer the temperature decreases, in which layer the temperature increases. Okay, from the point of view of your examination, because these questions could be posed to you. Now the temperature increases with height, and here thermosphere temperature is what? Temperature is high, because temperature increases. Why? Because this layer absorbs various kinds of solar radiations. Okay, so the same thing as a stratosphere. Why in a stratosphere the temperature is high? Because the kind of gas which is ozone, and this gas ozone which is present in a stratosphere, that is continuously absorbing ultraviolet rays from sun, and that is why thus making or thus increasing the temperature of this layer, which is a stratosphere. Now if we talk about thermosphere, then the same thing is happening, because this layer is continuously absorbing the various types of solar radiations, due to which the temperature of this layer is increasing with height. This results in the breaking up of molecules of atmospheric gases into electrically charged particles called ions. So you must have read this or studied these things in your chemistry, that what is ion. When a particle is electrically charged, whether it is minus or it is plus, they are called ions. So in this layer of atmosphere, what happens? The molecules of gases, or whatever gases are found in this layer, these the molecules of these gases are getting electrically charged, and these particles, when they get electrically charged, of course, then these particles are called ions. Now these ions reflect radio waves back to the earth and enable radio broadcasts and wireless communication. So this is because of this thermosphere that these ions reflect radio waves. How we could listen to the things in radio, or radio and wireless communication also we are doing all the time. We talk in mobile. How it is possible that without any wire? Earlier there were phones, telephones, which wire was there. It was connected with wire, through which we could talk to anybody, and with the help of that wire, or through the help of that wire, we were able to listen to anybody's voice, or everything was possible with the help of the wire. But if there is no wire, then how is it possible for us to talk over such a long distance? That is because of these ions, which are reflecting these radio waves back to the earth. Okay, so this layer is also called ionosphere. As there are relatively few molecules, atoms in atmosphere, even absorbing small amounts of solar energy can significantly increase the air temperature, now making the hottest layer in the atmosphere. Okay, now we know that as we go above from the earth's surface, as we go above the layers of the atmosphere, I have told you in the start of the chapter, or in the beginning of the chapter itself, that the amount of gases, or the concentration of gases, is the most, or is the greatest in the first layer itself, that is troposphere. But it's not that. In different other layers which are above one another, that means the troposphere, stratosphere, and then mesosphere, it's not that the concentration of gases was nil over there. No, there was gas in these layers also, but the concentration, or the amount of gases, is lesser than that of the troposphere. Okay, so that is why, if the concentration of gases is lesser in these layers, the relatively few molecules, atoms in a thermosphere, even absorbing, now the molecules of these gases are also few, because the concentration of gas is lesser, then it is quite obvious that the molecules of these gases will also be lesser, because the amount of gases is lesser. So these molecules absorb great amount of solar energy. Okay, these molecules are able to absorb great amount of solar energy, and that is significantly increasing the air temperature, and that is of course, or that has of course rather, made thermosphere the hottest layer in the atmosphere. That means atmosphere is made up of different layers, so many layers, 5 layers I have told you so far. Now thermosphere, you have to keep this in your mind, as it could be asked in your examination, which layer in the atmosphere is the hottest and why. So this is the answer, that thermosphere is the hottest layer of atmosphere. Why? Because of the molecules and atoms of gases in this layer are able to absorb, of course, a small amount of solar energy, but it can significantly increase the air temperature. So what is the answer? That molecules and atoms of gases in thermosphere are absorbing small amount of solar energy, but they are able to increase the temperature of this atmosphere significantly. So this will be the answer you could write. Now the last layer of this atmosphere is called exosphere, is the uppermost layer. Of course, it is thousands kilometer thick and eventually merges with interplanetary space. Of course, this is the highest layer. Let me show you once again the see, after mesosphere this is ionosphere and this is exosphere. See, meteors are coming from outside of the atmosphere. Here meteors, this is also, see, this this layer is reflecting the radio waves back. See the arrow mark from here to, it's reflecting back. This is reflecting back to earth. See the arrow. That means this ionosphere, the ions in this layer are reflecting the radio waves back to the earth's surface, and that is why we are able to hear the broadcasts, or we are able to listen to the broadcasts reflecting in our radio, or we are also able to talk in our wireless mobiles due to this process which is happening in ionosphere. And also we will talk about, or we have already talked about, the meteors which are coming towards the earth are trying to penetrate the layers of atmosphere, but in this process they burst out due to the friction which is again happening in this layer ionosphere. Now exosphere it is quite obvious from here that this is the outermost layer, and this is quite this is almost mingling with the interplanetary. That means from here space, it's quite clear that from this place this layer is mingling with the spatial environment, or the environment of the space. So exosphere is the last. So nothing much has been given about exosphere. The air is extremely thin and reflected, rarefied, sorry. Let me see what is written. Yeah, rarefied. That makes the atmospheric pressure the lowest in this layer. It is composed of traces of very light gases, hydrogen. So the air is extremely thin, rarefied, and makes the atmospheric pressure very low. So here in this layer the atmospheric pressure is very low. That is why you must have seen the astronaut which go to the space are supposed to wear, or are required to wear, that specific space suit. They wear specific space suit in order to create that atmospheric pressure which they feel upon the surface of the earth. So why this atmospheric pressure is required in our body? In order to balance the in order to balance the blood pressure which is there inside our body, because blood pressure is also uh, pressurizing our body from inside. Now in order to balance this, process, because blood pressure is pressuring our body from inside, now if there is no pressure from outside, then our body can burst apart. So in order to keep this balance, so on earth, the atmospheric pressure is there, and that is balancing our body. I mean, the pressure which we are feeling from inside of our body, because there is a blood pressure, there is the pressure created by blood inside our body, which is pressurizing our body from inside, but due to the atmospheric pressure it is getting balanced. Okay, but as far as space is concerned, since there is no atmospheric pressure, so these astronauts are required to wear a specific kind of suit which give them a kind of feeling which is like atmospheric pressure. They are feeling a type of atmospheric pressure in order to keep themselves balanced. Okay, so here what are the gases found in their light amount, in their light amount, which is hydrogen, helium and oxygen. Now the importance of atmosphere. So this is now very easy. The oxygen in the atmosphere is essential because of the respiration, and then carbon dioxide, nitrogen are essential for plants. So water vapor atmosphere is responsible for various forms of precipitation. Of course, you know that we see a different kinds of precipitation. It could be of water, it could be of hails, or uh, that hailstones. Okay, so we have experienced different kinds of precipitation, so that has only become possible due to the atmosphere. So if atmosphere was not there, then these things would not be possible, which are quite required for our life. So now, while ozone prevents harmful ultraviolet rays from reaching the earth's surface, so these are the things which are quite important for our living. If these things were not there, then we would not be able to live. So this is the importance of atmosphere. So let's see what are the next importance of importance of atmosphere. So let me see. Now the next importance is incoming solar radiation heats up the earth's surface during daytime. At night time, earth radiates back the heat which is absorbed by the atmosphere. Greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, water vapor trap terrestrial heat and make the earth's temperature livable. So this is also one of the most important thing which our atmosphere does for us. So what is that? Actually, in the daytime, when earth is receiving solar temperature from the sun, which is quite important for living beings, but at night time, when sun is not there, sun is not present in the sky, so at that time, how earth is retaining its heat, how earth is warmer even at night time, this is due to this is due to the gases, greenhouse gases. This is because of the gases which are greenhouse gases. Okay, so what are greenhouse gases? Which greenhouse gases are carbon dioxide, okay, and such as carbon dioxide. There are many greenhouse gases, but specifically due to carbon dioxide, this process is happening, that carbon dioxide is a gas which absorbs our terrestrial heat at the daytime, and this terrestrial heat absorbed by carbon dioxide keeps the earth warm even at night time. Okay, so water vapor traps terrestrial heat and make the earth's temperature livable even at night time. Meteors burn up in the atmosphere before they can hit the earth's surface. So this thing I have already cleared in the beginning of the chapter when I was teaching you, or when I was making you understand the layer which was mesosphere. So what happens in this mesosphere, however I have told you, but once again let me make it more clear. So what is happening whenever meteors try to hit our earth, so what happens, it has to penetrate the layers. mm, it has to first penetrate the different layers of earth before coming or before touching the earth's surface. But what happens when it reaches mesosphere, then what happens, it faces friction and it bursts apart. Okay, so in this way, our atmosphere even protects us from these kinds of meteors and asteroids. Now, greenhouse effect and global warming. Now, what is greenhouse? I have already told you that there are different uh, greenhouse gases, or what is the use of these greenhouse gases. Let me first make it clear before I read this passage, so it can make you it can make things more clear in your mind before I read this paragraph. So greenhouse gases, there are many greenhouse gases, among which carbon dioxide is the most important. So their work is to absorb the terrestrial heat. Okay, and thus in this way they keep our earth warm even at night time, of course, and thus in this way even at night time we can feel the warmth, and we can and that's why we can live on earth even at night time. Otherwise, if if greenhouse gases were not there, then in that case what would happen, at night time earth's temperature would have or would become the coldest. It would become so cold, so cold, so cold that it would become impossible for us to live on earth at night time. It would be okay, it would be all right at daytime because sun would be there. Okay, but at night time it would be impossible for human beings to live on earth's surface. Why? Because this would become so cold that it would be impossible for us to live on the earth's surface. But this is due to the greenhouse gases, that these gases absorb terrestrial heat at daytime, and these gases which absorbs terrestrial heat at daytime keeps the earth even warm or warmer or warm at even at the night time, and that is protecting us, or that is supporting us, living on the earth's surface even at night time. Now what is happening, these greenhouse gases are increasing, carbon dioxide is increasing in the atmosphere. Now you can well imagine, if carbon dioxide has got this ability or this capacity that it can absorb terrestrial heat and it can keep the earth's surface warm even at night time, then what will happen if carbon dioxide increases in our atmosphere? Then what will happen if carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas, if carbon dioxide keeps increasing in the atmosphere, then what will happen? The more carbon dioxide will be there, if what will happen if carbon dioxide keeps increasing in the atmosphere? What will happen? What I mean to say is, if carbon dioxide is increasing, then at the same time it is absorbing the terrestrial heat more and more. Okay, if carbon dioxide increasing in atmosphere, that means what's happening on the other hand? On the one hand, it is happening that carbon dioxide is increasing and increasing and increasing due to the various human activities, due to different kinds of gases are released from industries, due to different kinds of gases are being released from the vehicles, from this, from that. So many things, so many sources are there from where carbon dioxide gas is being released. But if carbon dioxide gas keeps on increasing like this, then carbon dioxide has got the capability of absorbing terrestrial heat more and more, more and more. And what will happen if carbon dioxide gas is absorbing more and more terrestrial heat? That means what will happen? our earth is becoming more and more heated. Daytime it is being heated due to the solar energy, due to sun is there, and in the night time why it is getting heated, more and more heated, because of this carbon dioxide gas, which has got the capability of absorbing terrestrial heat to such an extent that it can, or it is making our earth more and more heated, more than required, for that matter you could say more than required. So now let's read this passage. As you have already read in this chapter, sun heat the earth's surface during the day. The earth cools off at night by giving the heat in the form of terrestrial radiation. Some of the heat is absorbed by the greenhouse gases of the atmosphere and does not escape into the outer space. Okay, the same thing is written over here. Now, some of the heat is absorbed by the greenhouse gases, as I have told you a short while back, and these heat does not go back into the outer space, and that is how our earth is keeping warm even at night time. Okay, so this is greenhouse effect. Okay, this is greenhouse effect. Now over the years, heat trapping gases called greenhouse gases have increased in the atmosphere, thus making the planet warmer. So why I have explained, already. In addition, carbon dioxide, water vapor, these gases also include methane. I told you that not only carbon dioxide, there are many different gases. So these are different gases: nitrogen oxide and ozone. There are also some human made greenhouse gases such as chlorofluorocarbons, that is CFC, halogens, which destroy the ozone layer and are called ozone depleting substances. Okay, not only because of the greenhouse gases, not only because of this, our earth is getting warmer and warmer with each passing day, with each passing years, but because of because of the depletion of ozone layer also, our earth is getting warmer. High concentration of these gases in the earth's atmosphere has resulted in it being warmed up to a great extent. It has led to the gradual rise in global temperatures, which is referred to as global warming. So I have explained this already, so I'm not going deep into this passage, and that's why I would rather make things clear beforehand or in advance before reading this passage. Causes of global warming. Now what are the causes of global warming? Burning of fossil fuels, I told you this also, amongst greenhouse gases insignificant contributor. Fossil fuels, we are burning fossil fuels. So what are fossil fuels? Petroleum, coal, these are the fossil fuels which are being burnt by humans, and as a result of which carbon dioxide, methane and all these greenhouse gases are increasing and increasing in our atmosphere. So let me go to the next page first. This is the, okay, see, this is the next page, and the to warming is carbon dioxide released in large proportion. So what's happening? Due to the burning of these fossil fuels such as petroleum, coal, these are fossil fuels, and because of the reason human beings are burning these fossil fuels, carbon dioxide is releasing in large proportion. It is being released in atmosphere in a very great proportion. Okay, so what are the fossil fuels? Coal, petroleum. So whether it is industrious, I have told you this also so far, that industry is also quite responsible for releasing these kinds of gases. Now power plants also, vehicles also, I have already told you these things. These changes have been noticed. Industrial revolution. So since industrial revolution has taken place, these things are being noticed. That what these things? That the increase of these gases in the atmosphere. When coal as a source of energy started being used, later followed by petroleum. So first, on the first hand, coal was being used, and later it was replaced by petroleum. This table shows sources of major greenhouse gases. So there is a table in which we can see this. Now harmful emission of industries and vehicles, so I am not going to read it out because this is quite easy, you can do it yourself. Number 2, this is nothing but the emission of different harmful gases from industries and vehicles, nothing. Okay, number 3, see the picture is also given. Deforestation and mining, of course. So without even reading that, I just would like to tell you, you guys can read it yourself because this is very simple. Why? Because of deforestation, because trees are our natural cleaner. Trees are our natural resources which clean our atmosphere. How trees clean our atmosphere? By absorbing carbon dioxide and leaving or releasing oxygen into the atmosphere. But what we people are doing? We people are deforesting. That means we people are cutting trees every day. We people are cutting trees every day and thus making our earth devoid of trees, which are quite important for our own existence. And this is the thing which people are not ready to understand, and that is why they are doing these kinds of unfair things. So forests are major carbon sink, that I told you. The trees are absorbing carbon and thus releasing oxygen, of course, which is quite important for our own existence. But these are the things people are not ready to understand, and that's why they go on doing these things. So excessive rearing of farm animals, so keeping a large number of farm animals as goats, sheep, buffaloes, so also contribution to global warming. So how? Let's see, because this this point, of course, this point tells us that goats or these kinds of animals, if anybody rears or keep in their houses, then this is also one of the reasons why global warming is happening or taking place. So how? When farm animals digest their food, methane is produced in their stomach. Okay, so quite simple, when these animals eat something and digest their food, then methane is a kind of course, this is also a kind of greenhouse gas, and when they digest their food, then methane is released in the atmosphere, which is through their dung. So what is happening? When they digest their food, and of course when they take out their ball, then or they take out their dung, then in their dung methane gas is released. So by removing large section of forests to expand farmland and raising farm animals instead, humankind further disturbs the delicate balance in nature by increasing the amount of methane in the atmosphere. So due to this reason also, and also because they are removing large section of forests, okay, and they are trying to expand their farmland where they can rear these kinds of animals. Okay, so due to this reason also, that they are deforesting once again, and they are removing forests, they are removing trees, thus increasing this process a lot, and also due to the dung of these kinds of animals, methane gas is being released in the atmosphere. So fertilizers. Now artificial nitrogen is frequently used as a fertilizer for crops. Okay, so crops are being fertilized by these kinds of artificial nitrogen, that nitrogen which is not natural, that nitrogen which has been created or prepared in the lab. Some of this nitrogen is released in atmosphere as nitrogen oxide. Okay, so these nitrogen, as they are being used on crops, this nitrogen is also being released into the atmosphere, and what they form? They form nitrogen oxide when they mingle in atmosphere, thus fertilizing the crops with artificial nitrogen increases the levels of nitrogen oxide in the air. Okay, so in this process what is happening? nitrogen oxide in the air is increasing, which is also of course a very dangerous gas for the existence of human being, or also this is also supporting, this is also like a thing which is of course supporting in the warming of earth. So these things, the sources of greenhouse gases, you could see how CO2 is being released because of the burning of fossil fuels, methane, how this is released, nitrogen oxide, how this is taking place, or how nitrogen oxide is being prepared or being formed, and this is being this is also going into the atmosphere, and this is also a kind of very dangerous gas, and of course this is also one of the thing which is very dangerous for our earth. Ozone, CFC and all, you can see all these things yourself. Impact of global warming. Now what are the impacts? So these are very simple things, you can go for yourself. High temperatures lead to higher evaporation rate and drying up of soil and surface of water. This affects crop production. This occurrence of droughts is aggravating problem even further. So okay, high temperature, what is happening? High temperature is leading to high evaporation. If temperature is high in atmosphere, then there will be high evaporation. High evaporation means there will be very less water in the soil, because all the water is going above into the atmosphere due to the process of evaporation. Now if there is very less water in the soil, then or very less water in the very less water in the soil, then this affects crop production. Of course crop needs a lot of water for their growth and all, and if there is very less water in the soil, then how will the crop grow? So this is also a reason. This is also one of the impact. And drought can happen, drought can take place due to this process. Okay, so let's go to the next page. Now the heat waves in summer months lead to greater number of deaths, because due to the heat waves, vector borne diseases like these malaria, dengue, these kinds of diseases also spread. So forest fires are more frequent nowadays, you can see, due to the high heat, due to the global warming. A lot of forest fires cases are coming to the surface. Tropic cyclones, hurricanes, these are now common occurrences. A short a few days ago, a very devastating storm had come. Okay, melting of glaciers taking place. Okay, all these things you can go for yourself. Sea surface, the temperature of sea surface is also increasing, and this is something which is causing harm to the uh, to the uh, to the animals, of course, to the animals which are living in underwater due to the rise in ocean temperature. So this is something which is also destroying coral reef. That means it greatly affects the marine ecosystem. So marine, what is marine ecosystem? Ecosystem, we know that when one animal eats another animal, and that another animal eats some another animal, so this is ecosystem. So this is something which is being destroyed due to global warming. So these are the effects. So ways to reduce global warming. So what are the ways? Ways are also quite easy. So reducing the burning of fossil fuels, of course. Okay, and then by planting more and more trees. So I'm not going deep into these points because these are quite easy, you guys can go to yourself, because the main important things I have already made you understand. Oh my god, this chapter is too lengthy. Let me see what is the time. Okay, let me finish the chapter. So we should switch to eco-friendly cars, gadgets and all these things. This is also you can go to yourself. electricity, we can save electricity, reduce global warming by turning off electric gadgets. Okay, so green cities, eco cities, these cities are urban areas around the world striving to lessen the environmental impact of lowering emission levels, such as reducing levels of air, water, soil pollution. Some notable green cities include Copenhagen. Okay, this is also, I mean, you can go to yourself. Reduce, recycle, reuse strategy we will have to take up, and this is called sustainable development. Yeah, let me make you understand this. So what is sustainable development? That means we will have to use things in a recycling manner. Suppose we have already used one thing, then we have not to like throw it away. We will have to find out some ways through which we could use one thing in different ways, one thing again and again, again and again, or in different ways. Okay, so this is how we can save our resources on the one hand, and on the other hand, I mean resources of course on the one hand, and on the other hand you could also save your energy. Okay, so this is called sustainable development. We must reduce the use of natural resources so that we do not get depleted. So natural resources like petroleum, coals, you know, the forests, these are our natural resources. We should not make use of, or we should try to lessen our uses of these resources so that they do not get depleted, they do not I mean they do not come to an end. Okay, so see here, we must recycle or convert waste materials into a new products. So this is what I told you a few minutes ago. So the ozone layer and its importance. So same thing, ozone layer and its importance I have told you. Ozone layer is I mean the symbol is O3, because ozone layer is created with the three atoms of oxygen, so that is why O3. Now what is the importance? I have told you. Causes of depletion of ozone layer. So certain human beings release chlorofluorocarbon, and this is very harmful to the ozone layer, and that is why it is depleting. So thus a major cause behind thinning of ozone layer. So ozone depleting substances, these are called ODS. So what are these? These are chlorofluorocarbons, okay, and other harmful chemicals. So these the materials or the things or chemicals or whatever it is which is responsible for the depletion of ozone layer is called ODS. So chlorofluorocarbons are far less abundant than carbon dioxide, but they are 10,000 times more powerful as a greenhouse gas and can remain in the atmosphere for around 100 years or more. Oh my god. So what does this mean? Chlorofluorocarbons are far less in amount as far as the amount of these two gases are concerned. I mean the amount of carbon dioxide and the amount of chlorofluorocarbons. If we compare these two gases with each other, then we will come to a conclusion, or we will find that chlorofluorocarbons, however less in amount in the atmosphere, but they are less in amount than carbon dioxide, than the amount of carbon dioxide of course, but they are 10,000 times more powerful as a greenhouse gas, okay, but they are 10,000 times more powerful than carbon dioxide, and they can also remain in atmosphere for around 100 years or more. I mean they cannot leave the atmosphere, they will be there for 100 years as chlorofluorocarbons. So the ozone, these ozone depleting, next page, these ozone depleting substances which are called ODS are released due to the disposal of junk refrigerators, air conditioners and other electrical gadgets. Okay, so when we dispose these junk refrigerators, air conditioners, when we dispose these things off, then these chlorofluorocarbons or these kinds of gases are released into the atmosphere. Now, release of aerosols from spray cans, fire extinguishers, jet aircraft and solvent cleaners contribute towards generation of ODS. Okay, when these things happen or take place, release of aerosols from spray cans, when we spray something from cans of some harmful gases or harmful chemicals, fire extinguishers when we use in order to extinguish fires and all, jet aircraft, solvent cleaners, when these things happen, then the generation of ODS takes place. Generation of ODS means, of course, the substance which are responsible for depletion of ozone layer. So these substances get prepared or get formed. Volcanic eruptions also contribute to ozone depletion. When volcanic eruption takes place, then also ozone depletes. How? It is not given, that means you don't have to read, you don't have to be concerned about. Okay, so what is this? Free chlorine. Okay, how this ozone layer UV causes a chlorine atom to break away from the CFC molecules. Okay, let me make you understand this. So this is something CFC molecule, how the molecule of CFC in which chlorines are there, carbon are there. Okay, so how this is breaks one, see here, ultraviolet rays helps or breaks one chlorine atom from CFC molecule, and this Cl molecule or chlorine atom hits ozone layer, which is made up of 3 atoms of oxygen, and this, see here, number 3, this chlorine atom pulls oxygen atom out of the 3 atoms of ozone. See here, 3 atoms of oxygen makes O3, which is ozone. Now chlorine pulls 1 atom out of these 3 atoms of ozone. Now a free oxygen atom hits the chlorine monoxide. Okay, this free atom hits the chlorine monoxide, as a result of which one more chlorine atom is freed, and this goes on. Now this chlorine atom again will do the same thing. This chlorine atom again pulls one oxygen out of the pulls 1 oxygen atom out of the 3 atoms of ozone, and then again the chlorine atoms pulls 1 oxygen atom away. Again a free oxygen atom will hit chlorine monoxide, and this process goes on. That means what is happening? Chlorine, the free chlorine atom pulls 1 atom of oxygen out of the 3 atoms of oxygen, and thus it is depleting the original form of ozone layer. So what is the original form of ozone layer? O3. If chlorine breaks apart O3 and pulls 1 atom of oxygen out from there, that means it is no longer ozone, it is becoming O2. Okay, it is not O3 now, because 1 oxygen atom is being pulled by chlorine every time it is being hit by oxygen atom. Okay, so this is how the chlorine atom reacts to O3 and thus breaking O3 apart and thus depleting ozone layers. So I am not going once again very deep into this, because I think this is something related with chemistry, so this is not going to be asked. Although the process has been taking place for several years, so okay, see here, this process has been there for several years. The ozone layer was repairing itself naturally. Now this process I mean is taking place, has been taking place for so many years, but ozone layer is repairing itself naturally. With the marked increase in the emission of chlorofluorocarbons, the ozone hole above Antarctica, some other places of Earth is becoming a permanent feature. So what this paragraph is telling us, that though this process is being is been there, I mean this process I have now explained. This process has been there for several years, but ozone layer is naturally repairing itself. But even then, hole in the ozone layers in the sky of Antarctica uh, are now some permanent features. I mean, that is the in the sky of Antarctica, you know, the ozone layer. I mean, the ozone layer above in the atmosphere of Antarctica is not repairing itself. This is a permanent feature. Okay, maybe in some of the areas, ozone layer is not able to, you know, repair itself because of some reasons. But in most of the areas, ozone layer is able to repair itself back. The impact of ozone depletion. So what is the impact of ozone depletion? Again the same thing. It is a lot of detrimental effects it has got, the depletion of ozone on mankind, on human beings. So the first is this, that also suppress immunity. It can suppress our immunity. These rays adversely affect plants also, and water. It can destroy aquatic plants and animals too. Effects to prevent ozone depletions. So now what are the effects? These are effects, you know, they are doing this, they are doing that, they are signing this protocol, they are signing that protocol, this, that, so many things they are doing, but still nothing has happened. You know, the things, the Earth's atmosphere is, or the Earth's temperature is increasing every year. However many measures, or however many things they are doing in order to keep it under control, but it is not, you know, they are not able to control it, you know, because I don't know what is the reason, but you know, they are trying their best. They are trying their best to keep the temperature under control, but even then nothing is happening. Maybe because of this coronavirus, because of the lockdown and all, for I think for 2 months or so we were all under the lockdown, and only during that period, you know, Earth had got a beautiful I mean chance to repair itself, or I mean to Earth had got a really a beautiful chance to once again revive itself. But then again there is no lockdown, and again Earth has got difficulty in breathing itself. So I don't know what they are doing, but Earth's atmosphere is increasing with each passing years. So we should purchase products labeled ozone friendly CFC. So many measures you can go for themselves. Sorry, you can go for these things yourself. Okay, so let's go to the next page. This chapter is, oh my god, too lengthy. Okay, sorry, this is the last page ultimately, thank god. So I have explained the full chapter in one shot. This is for the first time that I have explained the chapter in one shot, because of course I have not gone through the chapter deeply, because this chapter is quite simple. The most I mean the things which are somewhat difficult to understand, I have explained those things, of course, and the things which are quite easy to understand, I have left these things for you guys. You can go through these things yourself, you can understand these things yourself, there is no problem. The things which were tougher in comparison to these things which are simpler, so I have already explained those things. So if you like my ways of teaching, my explanation, my ways of explanation, then please subscribe to my channel and also share with your friends. So again with some new chapter we will meet again. So till then, bye bye.